Hello, YouTube. Happy Halloween. Today I will be reviewing a movie that I've been meaning to review for some time, and that is the 2013 Evil Dead remake. Um, so, from what I understand, I did a little bit of research. I did a little bit of background research on this movie. And it turns out that both Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell um, tried for, oh, sorry about that, um, tried for a long, long time to try to get an Evil Dead remake made. Or a remake, of the Evil Dead, made. But it just wasn't going anywhere. Um, and finally, obviously, eventually, it ended up getting made. And from what I understand, Fede Alvarez got um, their attention by apparently like a YouTube, a movie or something like that that he made for YouTube. And they came to him and were like, "Hey, we want you to make a new Evil Dead movie." Um, so let me pull up my notes. Um, just so I can refer to them as I talk about this. Um, so this movie, um, opens with a father and a daughter, um, and a group of people in a cabin. The daughter is being possessed by a demon, um, and she ends up being, you know, she obviously, ends up being killed. They end up burning her alive, in order to basically, like free her soul, basically from the demon that is possessing her. Um, and then we meet our five main characters for this movie. They are David. His girlfriend Natalie, um, Mia, who is David's sister, um, Eric, who is an English teacher, and then I'm forgetting the girl's name. Hold on. The Olivia. Um, and they are at the cabin that we saw, that you see at the beginning of the movie. The one that I just mentioned. Um, and we learn that Mia is a drug addict, and she basically asks them for help. Basically, they're trying to get her to quit cold turkey. Um, and David and as I said before, David and Mia are brother and sister. Their relationship is somewhat strained because he has been gone. Um, because he has been gone. He's been gone for quite a while. Um, we get a little bit of backstory on David and Mia. Um, we learn that their mother, for example, David was away. He had just taken a job in Chicago at the time of his mother's, of their mother's death. He was trying to find, the right time to come back, but because of his new job in Chicago, he wasn't able to make it back. Um, so, um, oh, Sorry, hold on. So yeah, so they get to so they go inside the cabin, and things are already very, very out of place. They are um the for example, when they go down to the basement, when they go down to the basement, they see that there is remnants of um, of the events that happened at the beginning of the movie. So, like, the place stinks to high heaven. There's a huge blood spot on the there's a huge blood spot on the basement door. When they go down to the basement, there is remnants of there is remnants of like ash and remnants from the girl being burned alive in the beginning of the movie. Um, and um, and it is and then that is where Eric, remember, he's an English teacher, so he stumbles upon the Book of the Dead, and he's obviously, he's looking through it, and of course he comes across something that says, do not read this book. Um, and but obviously, this is a horror movie. In a horror movie, characters make stupid decisions. So what does he do? He reads from the Book of the Dead, and shit goes sideways. Um, and we also learn that um, David learns that Mia, because obviously, David's been away for some time, so he doesn't really know, um, like what's happened. He doesn't really know, this is the first time in a while that David and his sister, are seeing one another. So he doesn't really know, like what's happened since, um, he doesn't really know like what's been going on with his sister, obviously, because he's been away. Um, so we learn that David learns from one of his friends that Mia apparently made these exact same promises just last summer. Um, and we learned that Mia OD'd, last summer, and she was declared dead. Um, the doctors had to the the doctors had to defibrillate her. Um, so basically, um, so he learns from one of his friends. He learns from Olivia. She's like, yeah, she's not going to survive another overdose. Um, so, um, 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 this movie, for a remake, this is very, um, in some ways, this doesn't feel like a remake. Usually when I think remake, I think of, usually, with remakes, you bring back, a lot of the same characters, you bring back a lot of the same, um, a lot of the same, like plot points and scenes, that were in the original movie. This one, um, this movie kind of blurs the line between remake and reboot. Um, There are some there are obviously a lot of scenes in this movie that will stick out if you're if you're a fan of the the Evil Dead movies, or there are a lot of scenes that stick out, like from the original. Like there are a lot of um there are a lot of I don't want to say like recreation scenes, but there are a lot of like if you've seen the original Evil Dead, if you've seen the original Evil Dead, and if you see this one, certain scenes you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that, I remember that from the original movie, or or whatever. um but um but with this movie, um you don't have the same characters that you do, from the original movie. These For this remake, the characters are totally different. um um the acting in this movie is very, very solid. There is a lot of good, um the performances in this movie are very, very solid. The movie itself is well shot, it's well acted. um the set design looks really, really good. um the special effects are really, really good. um Really, my only complaint about this movie is um really my only complaint about this movie are the characters. They aren't annoying like they were in, like, for example, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like they aren't like annoying and obnoxious like they were in that movie. However, um they aren't, like annoying and obnoxious like they were in that movie. They're just dull and boring. You know what I mean? Like, like, even though the acting is very, very solid, um the characters themselves are just very, very dull and, like, uninteresting. You don't really have a reason, like, to care about them. um the you don't really have, like, a reason to care about them. Like when I saw, um like, like most of the time when like most of the time, like when I was watching this, like when someone got killed off, I was just like, okay. Yeah, like it didn't, like there wasn't enough, like backstory, and there wasn't enough, like character development in there, for me, to give me a reason, to care about these characters, and like what happens to them. Um, but but like I said before, the acting, from everybody in this movie is genuinely very, very good. Um, this movie, for a remake, um, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty solid. And I know that there are obviously a lot of bad, remakes out there. Um, I know that there are obviously, a lot of bad remakes out there, and just, directors, who remade movies that just, didn't really know what they were doing. Um, but yeah, no, this is one of the better, this is one of the better remakes out there. This is, this is definitely very much worth seeing if you haven't. Like I said, if you're a fan of the Evil Dead movies, and if you're looking for a good remake, um, if you're looking for a good remake to watch, this is definitely one that you should that you should see. And I know a lot of people out there, um, jump on the hate wagon when they say, oh, like this movie's getting a remake, when the original, um, when you have a beloved, when you have a beloved movie, whether it's, like Halloween or, like Dawn of the Dead or True Grit or, or whatever. Um, there are obviously very, very few movies out there that, that get remade and that end up being, just as good as, the original. Um, Me personally, I like the original better than I like the original better. Like if I was to compare this to, the original, I like the original better. However, this is still a very well made um movie. This is still a very, very well done um this is still a very, very well done movie for what it is. Um, Excuse me. Fede Alvarez directed this movie. Um, and if you're not familiar with him, he directed Alien Romulus, which just came out this year. Um, which is absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't seen it yet, I would definitely very, very highly recommend that movie. Um, yeah, no, um, this movie, I'm gonna recommend this and just say, if you're an Evil Dead fan, watch it. And if you're skeptical, because it's a remake, and I completely understand why you would be. Um, I would just say, I would just say, I would not be recommending this. I would not be recommending this if it sucked. Um, like if you watch my videos, if you watch, um, if you care about, my opinions and my, overall thoughts, in my overall thoughts, I'm, I'm always going to tell you guys the truth. I'm always going to, I'm always going to tell you, I'm always going to tell you guys, what I genuinely thought about, a movie or a game or, or whatever. You're always going to get, my honest thoughts. But yeah, no, I'm going to recommend this and just say, if you haven't seen it, give it a watch because it is very much worth your time. But anyway, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you saw it and what you thought of it. Like, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace and happy Halloween.